Hello and welcome to Politics Today. I'm Farooq Petafi. Because there are times when I think that the name of this program should be Interesting Times. I say it because for 5 years we have been discussing many things, especially economy, governance, many other issues. But somehow those issues stay alive every day. But now, at least with the new government, we have seen a new push toward in a new direction. Today, Prime Minister of Pakistan talked to senior journalists and he spoke about the new bill in Punjab, the local government bill. And after that, of course, we are going to have a local body system, local government system in the province of Punjab that is quite, that we are told will be quite enduring. That is also important because in the past many months, we have seen media which was very critical of the Punjab government. Now it seems that with devolution and true empowerment of the local governments, that focus will also shift to the local governments, and we will be looking at service delivery at very basic level. We are going to talk about that. Tomorrow, Mian Nawaz Sharif turns him in. We know an extension, a request for extension of his bail was rejected, and tomorrow he will turn in as well. So we are going to talk about that as well. And then there is a major issue about country's financial policy, fiscal policy, monetary policy, and we saw some major changes. Governor State Bank also changed. Also, we saw today Shabar Zadi is going to be the chairman FBR. We are going to discuss these matters and more in today's program. In order to help us understand these issues, we are joined by Zahram Khan Saab, used to be a regular on this show, doesn't find time that often these days, a columnist and also a civil society activist. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. Next to him is Dr. Zubair Hori Saab, another regular on this show, an expert on policy, a political analyst as well. Thank you very much for being part of the program. Haider Mehdi sits next to him, needs no introduction, is an anchor, is a writer, and also has opinion on more or less everything. Thank you very much for being part of the program. Zahram Khan Saab, I have to start with you. And I have to ask you, how do you see the local government system being introduced in Punjab?
I think it's a very positive step. Local government were ignored for a long time. You know, when democracy was restored in 2008, for a long time we did not have a local government at all.
Okay.
And then courts forced governments to introduce local governments as a constitution, because it was a constitutional requirement. Though local governments were formed, but still both the governments at the provincial and federal level, PMLN and PPP ignored them. And PTI fared a little better than these two parties, but still the local governments were not as empowered as they should have been.
Actually, they were not empowered at all.
Yes, that is true. Yeah. Now, the contours of the new system that are before us, we haven't seen the law so far. Interestingly, the law, the document of the law has not been uploaded on the Punjab Assembly website yet. Okay. It has not been uploaded on local government website yet. So we haven't analyzed the law, but we know the contours of the law from what the government has told us. And they look good in many ways, but there is at least, I have one reservation. I think, let me, put the positive things first. I think direct elections for mayor and heads of the Tehsil Council, they are great. Very powerful local government. For example, mayor of Lahore will need at least 1 million votes. I mean, there are 4 million votes in Lahore. And the mayor of Lahore will be a public representative who will be elected with at least 1 million votes, a very strong person.
Okay.
Right? That looks very good to me.
Okay, we'll have a lot of time to actually discuss the strengths. I want to know what do you think is the weakness?
I think there's a very strong weakness. The strong weakness is the district tier has been left out. Okay. Now, district has been a very important tier of governance in Pakistan and in India. for more than a century.
Yeah.
You see, when you go down the provincial level, the next level where you have all important positions and important offices from where governance is managed at the district level.
Right.
The head of police is there, the head
That's-
of civil
that's-
bureaucracy is there.
That is a good point, and I will come back to it because it is something very close to my heart as well. But let me bring in Dr. Zubair Khoury. Sir, your take on the bill and today's interaction of Prime Minister of Pakistan with the media.
Well, I think it's a wonderful idea. We may keep talking about its downsides and upsides,
Right.
but I am a strong believer that all problems are local. So you need to have their local solutions addressed to them. So if the problem is coming here, what are the problems of the people? They have the problem of education, basic health facilities, sanitation, local employment, local industry, local uplift, local people getting into the action. So if we are bringing in the locals, so that will be the true purpose of devolution of power. And it also serves the 18th Amendment. The 18th Amendment that has been going on in practice in Pakistan was largely at the provincial level. I was a great advocate of the fact there was no provincial finance commission, which Prime Minister has talked about today.
Yeah.
There has to be a provincial finance commission, and the finances should go to the respective districts. And if a district or a metropolitan corporation thinks that it is big enough, large enough, it should be able to generate its own resources.
Right.
The questions were asked from the Prime Minister that how they are going to get their finances, and he hinted about some things. I think very wisely he did not go into detail about how the finances could be generated.
Okay.
But again,
Why do you think it is wise?
because at this point in time, he only pointed out about Islamabad's selling of some plots.
Okay.
And he said that about 12 billion rupees were generated about for the sale of X number of plots in Islamabad.
Yeah.
So that is a hint that there has been a sarkari property which can be taken away.
Sold. Okay.
But my take is that this very system, whenever it comes into action, the Punjab Minister Basharat Raja has stated in that meeting that at maximum it will take 1 year.
Okay.
I think we should take it. It will be around 1 year, 10 months
1
to 1
year,
year
okay.
to get it implemented.
Till
But
that
it
time,
will-
we don't have any local government. It is
Yeah,
administrators.
Administrators.
Right.
That can be taken for granted. But here it will change the whole dynamics of A, finances, B, the governance system, and C, the legal system of this country. Because you have to create your own finances at this level, and where are the provincial governments going? Provincial government are generating taxes from different values.
Okay.
And federal government is also imposing taxes at district level and tehsil level.
And so we are going to talk about finances at this level also. It is
course.
very important.
This is the main
And
thing.
then since you have served in the civil service,
Yes.
I want to know about the reaction of the civil services as well. But let me bring in.
Let me just bring in just one last point before you go to Mehdi Saab. The governance system will be completely changed because of the ideas. I could read the mind of the Prime Minister when he was saying that the mayor or the head of the department will bring in the professionals. This will bring in a sea change in the whole of the the governance system that is running in Pakistan.
Yeah.
If we want to bring in the specialist for every district to run those affairs.
Okay.
And
That
then the
is-
legal system.
That is a good point, and I'm going to come back to that. Let me go to Haider Mehdi Saab. Sir, your take, sir.
So I just want to take a kind of a step back and, we talk about Pakistan's problems. I think Pakistan's biggest problem has been the elite capture that has a stranglehold on policy making, has a stranglehold on all the sources of power, financial, administrative, and political. And the only way that one can break this capture of this small kleptocratic, plutocratic group is really to devolve power down. So conceptually, it is revolutionary. And if it is implemented, even if we get 50% of the outcome, and I'm just grabbing this 50% number from out of the air, there's going to be a revolutionary step in the way this elite will be disintermediated from the politics of Pakistan. And the reason I say that is Pakistan's social and political contract between the policymakers and the people of Pakistan has crumbled. There is no contract anymore. If this happens, it's going to be revolutionary. What are the pitfalls? It's the same pitfalls that we saw during General Musharraf's time. capacity. Huge issues of capacity of the people to be able to manage the financial and administrative tasks and the responsibility that they've been handled with. That's number one. I think the other issue is of accountability and transparency.
Right, sir.
The issues of evaluation and monitoring, the issue of making sure that there is significant impact assessment going on to make sure that the funds are not being frittered away and they're not, you don't have little tiny Nawaz Sharifs and Zardaris running around in 22,000 villages of Pakistan. But that's true. That's the nature of the beast, when you give power to a small group of people, again a small elite within that. So that is the danger. If somehow or the other, and I don't know what the answer is, and thank you for pointing it out, one has to go through the fine print of the local government ordinance to see what this happens. I don't know whether they're going to be doing first past the post or they're still going to be doing majority, are they going to be doing majority?
I think it is
The
going to be
majority
first
will be
past the
doing it.
post, right?
It's first past the post. Then we have hopefully
Because
there'll
it
be,
is non-party system.
so hopefully there'll be more participation. If there's a 4 million Lahore voter, we hope at least 50%, 2 million, 2.5 million participate and this thing.
No, sir,
But-
for the mayor position, it will be party based. And
Okay,
for the
okay.
junior levels at the the village level, then it will be non-party.
Right. One question, sir, regarding district level,
I think that's a big miss. And I tell you why there is a big miss. And I think I know why there's a big miss.
Yeah.
I think the elite still operates just slightly below the provincial level, even at the district level, especially in the rural parts of Pakistan. I think in Imran and the people who've put this together, because they want to eliminate and like I said earlier, disintermediate this group from power structures, they have said, we won't do district, we will go straight to the tehsil and the village.
Right.
And this is a risk.
But you realize with that, the mayor doesn't have the policing powers. He doesn't have a lot of administrative powers as well.
The mayor of the city?
Yeah.
So I don't know, I'll be very honest, I have to see that in really great detail, whether these people have the financial administrative powers that were with them during Musharraf's time.
No,
If
they
don't. And you know,
I'm sure of it because it is a different tier.
well, the mayor isn't. The mayor of the city is a different tier. The mayor, so we've got the mayor of
It
the
is not a district tier.
It's not a
it's
district
not a
tier,
district tier.
It's
So
a metropolitan.
It's a
city.
metropolitan mayor.
Yeah.
And the district tier, I don't know how the district is going to completely vanish from this whole structure. It's very difficult to comprehend. I hope they have the answers. I hope, that if someone asks the Prime Minister during his meeting with senior journalists, the docile lot that somebody from your ministry collects and presents to them.
That's why the air codes, right?
Yeah, of course there's the air code.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's a really good question, Farooq. Unfortunately, I do not. And one of the big issues for me was that how are you going to address this issue of completely eliminating the district from the entire political process and the financial administrative process?
Right. How supportive is bureaucracy going to be?
Well, bureaucracy has won by eliminating the district tier.
Okay.
And the provincial politicians have also won by eliminating the district tier. Because district tier is the major, most important administrative level in governance. And if you are skipping the district level and going to the tehsil level, it means you are mainly focusing at the municipal actions, not the administrative actions. So the new local government structure does not have authority over administration or the administrative governance. They will mainly be dealing with the municipal functions. Good,
Right.
empowered, directly elected, but still not enjoying the kind of powers that we would have wished for a local government. Will it eliminate elite capture? I really doubt. I mean, elite capture starts from the village level.
Okay.
There is a village Chaudhary. And if
Not
you,
home level?
Yes, of
Where's
course.
Abba or Dada or
There-
somebody?
Of course, there's a patriarch in our
Yeah,
families.
yeah.
And if you go to tehsil level and you are running for the whole tehsil,
Right.
that requires resources that are that the requirement for resources is much larger than the requirement for running for an M&A.
Right.
Huge resources.
Now-
And our parties don't provide resources to candidates. The candidates who provide resources to the party. So parties expect their candidates to be rich, resourceful, who not only pay for their own elections but also donate something to party
Right.
as well.
Zahir
So-
Sahab, one more question before I go to Zubair Hori Sahab is about comparison of provinces. We know this system more or less kept on working in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. But there is one province that is not bringing in any kind of devolution of power. It is Sindh. So how does this dynamic play in Pakistan's politics? 3 provinces have devolution, 1 doesn't.
I think People's Party is paying the cost of not being in competition with PMLN and PTI in the last 5 years.
Okay.
And if they don't perform or try to perform or at least compete against PTI and compete against these 2 provinces, they will lose again. They must, you see, improve their governance in their own province, must improve the local government. And there's a huge local government challenge in Sindh. Look, Pakistan's largest city is in Sindh. Karachi is how 15 million.
Yeah.
And a city like Karachi, a mega city like Karachi, needs a very strong local government to run. All big cities, all mega cities all around the world
Right.
have a self-governing mechanisms that is absent in Karachi. I think Sindh may be forced to follow the suit soon, and if it does not, it will have to pay a cost in the next elections.
Sindh will have to, or People's
Sindh-
Party.
People's Party, of course.
Yeah, but we
Sindh,
saw
the
what
people of Sindh will pay.
even municipal level functions are of great concern. You know what happened in Larkana, the AIDS scare that is actually haunting people over there. So you have to have some kind of devolution.
We-
If you don't,
We have
it
a
becomes
health
problem.
crisis. We have a health crisis all over the country. We have an education, but in Sindh, it's worse than other provinces.
Yeah, in Larkana, there were hundreds of cases of AIDS that might have spread
That
because of.
that is a special case, and you can link it more to criminality.
Yeah.
And rather than the general health situation, in order to, you see,
No,
evaluate.
that is a thing you'll have to qualify. But I have to actually, as I said earlier, I have to go back to Dr. Hori. Dr. Hori, bureaucracy's reaction, sir.
Yeah, before we go on to that, let me correct ourselves. We have been talking about there's district government that is a mess. I'm just opening a website and which is giving us the major salient features of this act. It clearly says that it would be a 5-tier local government system, which will include a city district government, which will be 5 big city districts like Lahore, Faisalabad, Gujranwala, Multan, and Rawalpindi. Then there will be a district government. Then there will be Tehsil administration. Then there will be town administration, and the last year will be neighborhood council or the village council.
Okay.
So we may correct ourselves that
No,
the
but,
district government is already in this
when
system.
it was announced, and I'm directly quoting government's Punjab government's spokesman, they were talking about the city council being the highest level.
The city
No, no,
city
the-
district
no,
is
sir,
for
Not
the
the
bigger
entire
district.
Sir, the
district,
city district is something else. Some of the mega cities, they are districts as well.
Yeah.
So Lahore is a city as well as a district.
Yeah.
So a
That's the
city
top tier.
No,
City
but
district
that is
government.
the top tier, but that's an exception.
Karachi is not part of this
Sir,
act.
that is an exception.
No, but you have to understand the
Sir,
overall.
I'm saying that there
Function.
are, and it says that the act says that the tehsil, district, and the town will be defined as that in the West Pakistan Land Revenue Act 1967. So let's agree to disagree. My point is the district is not a
No,
miss
I'm glad that earlier we were
It
saying
is-
we don't have access
it-
to the
it-
law.
no, it
He
is
is
missed.
reading
There are.
from it.
There are news
it
reports
is-
on this.
Can I?
Yeah.
It is missed. What you're reading is about some of the mega cities where city is
Sir, I'm
not
not
just a
saying-
city, is not just a
Sir,
city,
I'm not saying that.
but a district as well. Lahore is not just a city,
Yeah,
it's a district as well. So there are 2 or 3.
So I'm
maybe-
not saying that.
How is the
I'm
district
saying
government
that
being
the
elected?
top tier is the city district government, which means the 5 major city districts, which he is talking
Which
about.
they have defined.
entire
Which they have
Punjab.
defined, yes.
In Punjab.
They are Lahore, Faisalabad, Gujranwala, Multan,
5
and
cities.
Rawalpindi.
5
5 city district.
Okay.
They are the major. Then there is a district tier also. Each district government,
Headed
which
by
are
whom?
smaller districts,
Okay.
which
Headed
are
by whom?
outside these.
Headed by
Yes,
whom?
each district shall consist of a district council and a district administration, which will be headed by a Nazim. Then the Nazim will be in charge of blah, blah, blah. Then what
it-
is district government? A district will be all other cities of the province, not included in the city district government list.
I will like
how are they
you to
elected?
check the date stamp on this.
Sir, date stamp is, I've checked it before, April 28th, 2019.
Okay.
Okay.
Because we have been hearing a lot of other
So,
things.
as regards the bureaucracy, if you can recall the devolution plan that was introduced by erstwhile President Pervez Musharraf, and there was a huge hue and cry in the district management group at that point in time. And after that, that has been renamed into Pakistan Administrative Service, and they are still performing more or less the similar kind of jobs in districts, in tehsils, and in the provincial administration and at the federal level. But as the Prime Minister was saying today, if I can read correctly what he was saying, that all the political elders will be bringing in their own specialized people, specialized cabinet, selected from the market. If they are getting those specialized people from the market, as the case that he was referring to there about the cantons in the Switzerland, if you are talking about US, the New York or the Miami city district governments or the London city district government, they have the specialists taken from the market from each field that they are working with. So if you are getting those specialists in what capacity they would be?
One question. I'm glad that you have pointed this thing twice. But one question is, you must have seen how the previous local government system during Pervez Musharraf's time actually worked. Pray tell me what stopped the mayors and Nazims at that time from doing that.
Yeah, at that point in time, although mayors and Nazims have got great powers, but all the district administration was with the civil bureaucracy. The district coordination officer was the same deputy commissioner, and all the district officers were given district officer education, district officer DO health,
The
rather
DPO
EDO
was
health.
the old SP.
So now you're dismantling that?
Now, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about what is going to happen. But
You realize that things become very crazy then.
yeah, then Prime Minister, if he's saying that they will bring in their team, what would be that team? If you are bringing in the specialist of education, of health, of sanitation,
EDO is
of
gone.
cleanliness, then
officer.
maybe the secretarial job will be provided by them and led by those specialists. You don't know. You take this model of the previous government, Shehbaz Sharif government. He got this new public management that was introduced in the Tayyip Erdogan regime in Turkey. They introduced that company system that was a supra system over the existing structure that we have in Punjab.
Okay.
So they identified a problem. Okay.
So what we are going to do is functionally double the expenditure.
No.
You will have bureaucrats,
maybe,
and
maybe.
they will be topped by some
Maybe.
other, nominated or appointed people.
Maybe or may not be. Now you see, here was the problem in Punjab was that, for example, we have a sanitation issue. So they developed or they established a company for waste management. We had a specialized healthcare problem, they established a company for that. So instead of individually identifying the problems in certain areas, now we are trying to catch the ear from the other side. Like every government will have its own specialized system, as we have in London, as we have in New York, in Miami, or maybe in Dubai, or maybe in other areas. What they are thinking, if I can read their minds properly, that every mayor or every city district government, and let's focus on this one, will bring in their own team of specialists. These specialists will focus on their specialized areas, and hopefully the existing bureaucratic system will be there for administrative support. That is there in many countries workable.
Functionally, practically doubling the expenditure.
Yes.
Can I
Yeah,
just
please,
add a
sir,
little
go
bit
ahead.
onto this? In change management, we always say it's not about the what, it's about the how. The what everyone knows. We have a problem here, we have a problem here. It's how do you implement a massive change like the one that we are seeing today.
Right.
And one of the key things that you look at when you're doing implementing change is where is the most resistance going to come from? And you identify those centers of resistance. In this case, the centers of resistance have been identified very clearly. I can see the power brokers, the political power brokers, as being some of the most serious resistors to this. I see the bureaucracy as one of the most serious resistors to it. They will do everything in their power to subvert, to sabotage, to hijack all this process. I hope that when this local government bill was being drafted, and I don't know if those senior journalists, someone asked them this question.
Nobody asked those questions.
His question is to say, Mr. Imran Khan, the question you asked, Farooq, the question that Dr. Zubair raised, the question I'm raising, how are you going to address this issue of parallel governments which have never happened? Because during Musharraf's time, you actually created a tier, right? You created a parallel tier and you said, you got And I remember Tasneem Nurani Saab telling me, you know, he's an eminent bureaucrat. He said, you will never have a Nazim ordering a lathi charge on his own people.
And they never did actually.
And they never did. So there's going to, so I don't know what's going to happen on front, but as far as I'm concerned, there is going to be huge recession if they haven't thought through and they don't have
They
implementation.
have made a law, so how
Well,
can
the
not
law
they-
is the law. That's the what. Now it's all about the how.
Taste of the pudding is in its eating.
No, but this is what I'm saying. If they haven't actually worked out the details,
I don't
how
know.
can you make a law? You have to have some
But
details.
somebody,
They must have done it.
You know, Mr. Imran Khan has not done a single press conference since he's taken over as Prime Minister.
Today is
he-
a press conference.
No,
Today
this is
it
not. Was this a press conference? This is a bloody.
Whatever.
It
Not
was
bloody, sir.
it was an army. What do you call it? This is what we call this in the army. The
Sure,
darbar.
okay.
It was a darbar. He had his courtiers sitting next to him, and some of them questionable. I mean, why should Jahangir Tareen be sitting there when the local government law is being introduced? I mean, he has no role, he has no position, he's not in the government, he's not in the party.
We are moving in
No,
the
no,
wrong
what
direction.
I'm telling
Come
you.
back to the
I'm-
topic.
No, what I'm telling you is that these are the questions the Prime Minister should have been asked, and these are the questions the Prime Minister should answer. Now, some people will always take a thing with me. This, you know, this is not the Prime Minister. He has to give this big vision. I said, good. I've seen this happen with Naya Pakistan Housing Scheme. He comes and announces this huge project, and then there's silence. No one explains. He announces Asas, and then there's silence. No one knows what's going on, who's doing what. This is the future of Pakistan, Dr. Farooq. This is not a
I'm
game.
not a doctor, sir. Yeah.
In my eyes, you're a doctor. Okay, I hope you do your dissertation. But really, this is what the issue is. And on a very serious note, these are not things that you tinker with and you say we're going to do this. It's good. I think it's brilliant if 22,000 village councils are financially empowered and they're able to deliver value. And even if they take 30% money out of corruption.
I think Ghari Saab is ready to quote something more.
I'm itching to add to Wandas.
Yes, please.
When the devolution plan was implemented, particularly after the 18th Amendment, there was a huge and big crisis of capacity with the provinces. So if you look at, I'm not talking about Karachi, Lahore or Rawalpindi, I'm talking about Job, Pashin, Quetta, maybe Bhakkar, maybe DG Khan. So when you devolve all these financial powers with all these administrative powers to them, do we have the capacity, even the administration running over there, do we have the capacity to run these affairs? Still, in the sector of education, in the sector of health, in the sector of sanitation, we have serious capacity issues. Even for the Balochistan province, they always look towards Islamabad. Even for Higher Education Commission, all these education that has been devolved to the provincial level, they look for the Higher Education Commission for their advice. So capacity will be a huge issue.
No, but the people who have the capacity, that is the bureaucrats, how are they going to look at it?
I'm not.
Twice you have sidestepped
I'm
this
not-
question.
I'm
Now
not-
you're going to
I
answer.
think they're going to sabotage,
I'm
and
not
I think
sure.
they're going to hijack, and I think they're going to do everything in their power to destroy it.
Okay,
Well,
your takes.
There may be.
I'm coming to you and you'll have a detail.
They may be doing something on the hindsight. I'm not sure about that, but they are the servants of the state. I think if they are giving certain
Everyone
orders.
is. Even elected people are servants of state.
No, you and I are not the servants of the state. We are at least for the moment we are freelancers. We are freelancers.
You forget that I'm working for state channel.
No, you're working for the state channel, but you have a contractual obligation. But they have a lifelong service. If they will be asked to perform certain duties, they will be definitely performing those as exactly they did after Pervez Musharraf introduced his act, the district coordination officer and the district officers. They will comply legally. But as far as the cribbing or the hindsight things, they will definitely go
And
on.
sabotaging?
Because I'm not sure about sabotaging, because nobody likes to change. There
When
is the
this
law of
gov-
inertia
I
that is
mean-
always there in this universe.
Yeah,
You
but-
always resist the change. So there will be a change, there will be resistance to change, but if they persist, if they deliver, if the efficiency of that system comes out, then the things will be in that direction. Otherwise, that resistance will overtake them.
Right. Zahir Khan Sahab, I wanted to add other topics as well, but it seems because there's so much meat in this discussion, I want to focus more on this. One question, and if you remember, one argument that is given against the local governments, especially the district tier, like Pervez Musharraf Saab's, is that it undercuts the provincial capacity to govern. And these are provinces that have been complaining for 40 odd years that they didn't have autonomy. Now you give them autonomy, now you cut it off by, further devolving power. If you remember, Mia Amir, the mayor or Nazim of Lahore, used to sit in a press conference, and right next to him would be provincial ministers, treating him as if he is a deputy chief minister. Is this argument correct? That somehow local governments, especially if they have too much power, undermine the provincial government?
Well, I don't think it is correct. It is right that our federating units fought for devolution for more than 6 decades and finally won the rights for which they were struggling. But then they behaved in the very way center behaved for more than 6 decades. Now they're resisting the next level of devolution. And how this is playing, for example, Prime Minister gave one example. Per capita expense on a citizen in Lahore and per capita expense on a citizen in Rajanpur. A citizen in Lahore gets 74,000, more than 70,000, while a citizen in Rajanpur gets barely something more than 2,000. Now look at that, that is 37 times, 3,700% more. So the weight of a citizen in Lahore is 3,700% more than the citizen in Rajanpur.
Right.
Any wonder that Rajanpur is the least developed district in Pakistan, in Punjab?
Yeah.
So if you're spending at this level, if you are creating this, it is a disparity that you are creating. And this was...
How do you see the revenue streams? Because Dr. Saab was hinting at selling the property, state property. But is it not, law of diminishing returns actually applies to that? With every sell, your capacity to sell more goes down because you have limited land. So how do you earn more?
Well, I mean, there are some districts, particularly the larger cities, that can generate their own resources all over the world. Big cities generate huge resources
Through taxes?
Yes.
through taxation. But of course, not all districts can generate resources. There are only some large cities.
There are so many distortions in the discussion. On one side, we are trying to simplify the tax code, and now another tier of taxes will apply also. Then there is the issue of too many things being done simultaneously.
No, look, the first thing, the first thing and the foremost thing is dividing the pie that is there
Okay.
justly. It is not being divided justly, right? There's a huge disparity. In the last 10 years, 57% of Punjab's development budget was spent on just one city.
Right.
So the first thing is, I think it is very important that provincial finance commissions are formed.
Yes.
And the pie that is there is distributed fairly. Now the next level, that is a huge debate, a different kind of debate, generating revenue. There's a huge scope in that. The World Bank says Pakistan can generate 8 trillion instead of 4 trillion at the present rate of taxation.
Exactly.
Without adding an,
Yeah,
so
but
that's a
here-
different debate.
Here,
yeah.
But here you are actually essentially focusing on two things. One, creating a new tier of taxation as well. B, when it comes to NFC, we haven't been able to resolve the previous, concerns.
No, it's
How
not
are we going
creation
to
of the
do
new
it?
tier.
Huh?
It's not a creation of the new tier. Actually, the taxes that are being collected at this point by the provincial level will be devolved or will be given the responsibility to the districts.
So you are essentially taking something away from the province.
No, we are not taking. We already have district
Then you are
excise.
creating a new thing.
No, just let me finish that. We have already district excise officers.
Okay.
District officers in each district of the excise and taxation department. If they can collect certain property taxes and certain other taxes, certain poll taxes and certain other taxes which are on some goods, that can be limited to that district only. So the collection can be devolved. If collection can be devolved from the federal to the provincial level, why not from provincial to the district level?
Yeah, but
here comes the question
you
of
get a-
capacity.
Yeah, but it,
But we are not duplicating any taxes here. The taxes will be there, the
comes
authority will change.
problem of resolving disputes also. So you want to say?
Yes, Mehdi sir.
So I just want to make two observations here. And I'm sorry I revert back to a change management model because I understand that well. And really change management, whether it's small organizations, state is same. You know, it fundamentally follows a 6-step process. It's about creating awareness. So that was what you saw today, some awareness.
Yeah.
But then you have to create the desire amongst the stakeholders. Who are the key stakeholders who will say, you know what, this is a good system, I need to be part of it. Once that happens, then you impart knowledge and you create the ability and the capacity, and then you say, okay, this is how we're going to reinforce and fundamentally sustain it. I see this, I see a really wonderful rainbow, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow here. You know, the agriculture sector of Pakistan has been the most grossly neglected sector. We've had negative growth. I see this, if it goes through the way it does, our agricultural economy in terms of the extension services that are available to our small farmers especially, not the big farmers who are, you know, will come and rip everybody off, but we're talking of the 5-acre farmer, the 10-acre farmer, even
Right.
the 2-acre farmer. But hear me out, this is a very interesting model. And here is, there are our youth who are unemployed, we're adding 5 million a year
Yeah.
of people. They will be trained, they should be trained in the rural extension services. They adopt villages, they adopt farmers, they act as the intermediary between the extension services of knowledge, inputs, credit extension. An organization like Akhuwat is ideal. You know, 800 offices in 400 cities, villages and towns, use them to provide extensions. So the grip of the Aarti is taken away, and the buying power and the selling power and the knowledge base.
Aarti, the middleman, right?
The Aarti is the middleman, sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, the middleman. And I think that when you talk about revenue,
Sir.
so once the productivity increases, the productivity frontier, you know, the productivity curve frontier that we talk about, says that Pakistan's ability to increase its per acre yield ranges from a minimum of 80% to 164%.
Right.
That's where the revenue is going to come from, and this sector then is ripe for taxation.
And then we should be working more to create more data, more information. Civil society should
Let me
also
give
be
you
working.
an issue on
Sir,
data.
I'm told that we have run short
Zero
of time.
time.
Yes,
We've
zero
paid
time.
4 fines to the World Bank for fudging data.
Okay.
$400,000 each. We are masters at fudging data.
Now it is India that is doing it. We are not doing it, sir.
Alone.
Let
We have a partner.
let us actually leave it at that. Heather Mehdi sahab, thank you very much for your time. Dr. Zubair Hori sahab, thank you very much for your time as well. Zaham Khan sahab, thank you very much for coming. And do come more often, sir. Thank you very much for your time as well. Viewers, you have listened to our participants. This discussion could go on for some time, but we will try doing that another time. Today we have to conclude the program a little bit early. This was today's program. Thank you very much for watching us. Take care.